Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper, and I wanted to discuss the critical ammo supply that's about to be removed from the civilian market. This was reported on October 14th by Staple Defense that the Lake City ammo plant has canceled all of its commercial contracts. And that's a big deal because currently the Lake City ammo plant supplies 30% of all 5.56 NATO ammunition to the civilian market. And of course, 5.56 NATO is a staple in the preparedness community when it comes to the primary choice of intermediate cartridge caliber for defensive rifles like this one. So this is kind of a big deal, and I actually do have some insider information I want to share with everybody just based on what I'm seeing on the back end. But really quick, I do want to mention that Midway USA is the biggest supporter of the channel, and thanks to them I can get out on the range with rifles like this one and sling 5.56 downrange all day long, and hopefully for much longer. So big thanks to Midway USA. Now, why is this happening? Well, there's only really one reason why this could be happening. Lake City Ammo can suddenly not produce enough surplus ammunition to sell to civilians. So basically, the way it works is that they have to fulfill all the government requirements for ammunition necessities first. And then anything they produce thereafter can be sold on the civilian market, which obviously helps them keep more people employed and helps keep business moving forward while also being able to fulfill these government contracts. Well, that means that they either suddenly have a spike in demand coming from the government when it comes to the requirements that they have in place for how much ammunition they're going to need, or they're having production issues when it comes to maybe not being able to source all the components required to produce more 5.56 ammunition. But based on recent events here on the world stage and the fact that we are witnessing conflict break out all over the planet, I wouldn't be surprised if the United States government suddenly realized it needed more 5.56 ammunition in anticipation of possibly deploying troops in certain parts of the world. So we can actually learn a couple things from this. One, we know that 5.56 ammunition is going to be harder to come by and more expensive when you do find it. But two, that there's a good chance it's because of the fact that things are gearing up to be even more volatile here very soon on the world stage. So use this opportunity to further your preparedness and to understand that things aren't going to necessarily get cheaper or more abundant anytime soon. And like I said, I do have some interesting insider information I want to share with everybody because I currently run an LLC with a wholesaler's license, which means I have access to wholesale pricing on certain goods like ammunition. Well, that's actually starting to get me a little concerned. But real quick, I do also want to mention that Genesis Gold Group is a huge supporter of the channel. And if you want to stabilize your assets by using precious metals like gold or silver, make sure you check them out because they're one of the few gold companies that has no involvement with the CCP. And if you don't believe me, start Googling it and you'll figure that out really quickly. And the other thing I want to say is that if you go to magicpreppergold.com, they can walk you through the process of doing a rollover IRA account or whatever you want to do in order to stabilize some of your wealth through these very difficult times. So you will get gold and silver, and in the process, you'll support this channel, and I will be able to get more brass and lead in order to keep doing what I do here. So I appreciate anyone who actually goes and checks out Genesis Gold Group at magicpreppergold.com. Now, through my wholesaler certificate, I have access to pricing on things like ammunition, and what I can tell you right now, which has me more concerned about this than I would usually be, is that all I can access right now, and usually I can buy all the 5.56 out there, you know, everything you can think of, all the usual stuff that you guys all buy in the store, I have access to. Whether or not it's Winchester White Box, whether or not it's Hornady Frontier, which of course there was an explosion at a Hornady plant, but that's a whole different story. Whether or not it's Federal, whatever ammunition you can think of when it comes to 5.56, I have access to it generally, right? Well, you know, even X-Tac, PMC, right? Right now, the cheapest 223 Remington ammo I can buy as a wholesale price, right? This is not even what it would cost you when it comes to MSRP, but for wholesale, the cheapest 223 Remington I have access to right now is $19.39 a box of 20. And the cheapest 5.56 NATO ammunition I have access to right now is $21.81 a box of 20. So yeah, you can still find 5.56 right now on the shelf. You can still find it on major retailers, especially when you're talking about ones that support this channel, maybe even related to companies like Midway USA. But I'm telling you that in order to restock it is maybe, you know, something that will be a little bit more difficult for these companies to do because of the fact that all they have access to are boxes of 223 and 5.56 that are $20 or more per a box of 20. So if that's the pricing that I have access to, and that's all I can get through a major distributor, it's only a matter of time until it's going to be harder to come by from your usual outlets. So do what you got to do with that. Look, you shouldn't have to be going out and panic buying ammo. That's not something that you should have to concern yourself with, because you should already be prepared and already have these things figured out by now. I mean, it's been, 3+ years since 2020. Like, we've been talking about this for a long time. But if you don't have anything, I mean, you should probably get something, right? Because what I'm telling you is the truth. It's just going to get more and more expensive or harder to get here very soon, especially based on the fact that I can't even order any wholesale wise right now at all that's at a reasonable price, which means that trickle down effect is on its way. So wanted to bring this up, let everybody know about all that. If you need anything else from me, go to magicprepper.com. If you want to support me over on Subscribestar, it's $5 a month. There's preparedness incentives that we do monthly, including support from Midway USA, which is awesome, but it also has exclusive content and everything else over there too. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.